Internet, hello you lovelies. Let's talk all about Nosferatu, which is an absolutely metal acrylic painting of a movie. It is atmospheric, it is intense, it is wonderful. We're going to talk all about it, but if you're new to this page, please hit that subscription bell. We're rapidly approaching 40,000, and I'm so excited. I am so honored each and every one of you are here. I cover lots of genre content. I love comic books, the books themselves, and I do news and reviews on comics every single week, as well as movie news and reviews and some TV. So if any of that's your cup of tea, hit that subscription bell. Also hit a like on this video so I know you like the video. And most of all, let's have a conversation in the comments. This is a very dense, very intense movie I'd love to have a conversation about below. Without further ado, let's talk about Nosferatu. No spoilers. Do not want to talk too much about the third act of the film. I might dabble in some of the concepts, but I'm going to really be careful with what I'm revealing here because the movie's not out until Christmas. So, Nosferatu is by Robert Eggars. It is probably the most approachable of his work, in my opinion. It might also be my favorite of his work. It feels like a lot of the artistic flair and flavor of The Lighthouse, but in a more linear story. It feels like a lot of the more aggressively dark and palpably atmospheric elements of The Witch, but in a way that isn't as, I don't know, there's a mean-spiritedness to The Witch that makes me not rewatch it as often as I'll probably rewatch Nosferatu. It's the scope and grandeur and technical prowess of The Northman. It is Robert Eggars doing all of his best in one incredible experience. And that I do not put lightly. I think he's an absolute genius. I think Robert Eggars is the only man that could have made this take on this film, and I love it. It feels like everything led to this. And the movie itself is so big in its darkness. It is such a feeling of disorientation and palpable black. Like, if you can see this on, definitely in the theater, but try to find like a Dolby theater, a theater with like really good projection, something that you can feel the darks, because it is like an acrylic painting. Like, when you see those really rich, classic, oddly pull you in acrylic painting, when you see those, there's something about them where the darks look darker, where everything, you feel a sense of that painting. This is the movie. And on top of that, he uses the camera in really interesting ways where there's a spinning, there's a turning, not a spinning, there's a panning, but it's almost circular, that he uses a few times that's incredibly disorienting. And the whole movie has this disorienting feel that you're always looking for what's in the darkness. You're always seeking what's in that next little pocket while being slightly disoriented. He also uses the backs of people's heads as a way to both transition, but also it's very alien. We don't look at the back of our heads very often. It's an odd image. So it also adds to the sense of like odd and disorienting when we're telling a narrative story and then you go to a view you don't see very often. It subconsciously makes you uneasy. And that plus the sound design being so constant. There's this underlying uneasy warble that turns into full-on shrieks. The voice, we're going to get into the acting next, but the voice of these characters mixing in with the sound design, mixing in with this disorienting camera choice, plus all the darkness. It is really just this consistent 2 hours and 20 minutes of very uncomfortable joy, because the movie itself is amazing and it wants you to feel that you know what you're getting when you're going in, but it was incredible that I felt so bad and so good simultaneously. All right, so Robert Eggars, absolute crush, maybe the best of his career in my opinion. Obviously this is my review. The Northman is something I enjoy deeply, so that's saying a lot. The acting is so rich that it is almost like a play. And I feel like the story of this being from the classic Nosferatu film allows these actors to act as if they're on stage. There is such a big, bold swing taken by each and every actor that you're very aware that if any of this was out of context, or if any of these actors were doing a performance this big in another movie, it would not work. Like, if I watched just a scene of this film without having laid in the coffin of the journey to get to the third act or even the second act, I don't know if some of it would work, but it's everyone so dialed into exactly what the movie is. Everyone is so in this tapestry, in this play, that every big performance only makes the next one better. It really feels like you're living in the era of filmmaking that the first one is from, but with today's technology. It really feels like you're watching a stage play that you're somehow sitting in the Shakespeare seat on and just experiencing it. I love that I didn't know who played Nosferatu the entire film. The film ends, credits roll, I'm so wrecked by this film. I'm so invested in the world. I'm not reading the credits to look. And as we're walking out, I ask a buddy, like, oh my God, I don't know who they got to play Nosferatu, but that was incredible. And then the person told me it's a very big actor. I'm not going to say it in case you want the same experience I had, but it's such a huge actor. I did not recognize a single frame of this person. I didn't see it in the eyes. I didn't see it in the physicality. Certainly didn't hear it in the voice. It is such an incredible performance by this actor as Nosferatu, who is terrifying the entire film. So that performance is an all-time great villain performance. That performance is an all-time terror. This movie absolutely cracks my top 20 of the year. I need to figure out where it lands, in large part because I will never forget this villainous performance. But it's not just the villain. The Nicholas Hoult ability to be both commanding while being an absolute demurring, weak character is so incredible. Like, he has mastered this waifish, subservient character while still having moments of pure command. Like, you really love the multifaceted layers of this take from Nicholas Hoult. Very impressed, as always. I think he's such a good actor. Your ear's okay, bud. I really also think that there's so much going on with what Aaron Taylor Johnson is doing that won't be as discussed as it should. He's doing so much. He's got so much love. He's got so much passion for his friends and his family. He's commanding a very easily hated character. Like, the character is the rich aristocracy role, and there's so much likability in this unlikable. But what to me really sings in the film opposite the incredible fill in the blank, I'm not going to tell you who it is, Nosferatu performance, is Lily Rose Depp. Lily Rose Depp, I don't know her work all that much. I've seen her in a few things, and I've always thought like she's not like her dad. Like, her, I love what Johnny Depp can do with, like, you know, Hunter S. Thompson and stuff, but what Lily Rose Depp brings is always more like a wide-eyed, peer into her soul performance. Like, there's this outward acting that is very with Johnny Depp that's so projecting, and everything with her is so inward. And that's a compliment to both actors. They both bring the A game to what they do. But Lily Rose Depp's inward acting is always so interesting because it makes you lean forward. You're curious about what's going on. And here, it's the biggest version of that I've ever seen. She's got so much physicality. She does so much, especially in the second act and then into the third act, where the physicality of the character has to be believable or the whole role falls apart. And if that role falls apart, the whole movie falls apart. She is so captivating, so terrifying. One of the best performances I saw this year is Lily Rose Depp, and it's such an inward and then big performance, and I was just mesmerized by this woman. She is so captivating, so wonderful. What a hard performance. If you know the story of Nosferatu, this is not an easy concept or delivery to get across, and she absolutely nails it. I'm so impressed. So impressed. Like, the acting in this movie is next level. Willem Dafoe steals every scene he's in. He's bringing his lighthouse, big bravado, but again, in a more linear way. It feels like he's in the best play I've never seen. There's frames that look like a play. And that's the last thing I want to talk about. We've talked about directing, we've talked about acting, we've talked about the story a little bit, but the cinematography, every pause is a painting. Every frame is a work of art, and it's so rich and it's so powerful. So you've got the writing that is so hard. Like, the story of this is so hard to wrap your brain around. The decisions people make are totally justified to their character, and the occult and the I say hard to wrap your brain around as in, like, I can't imagine being in this position and what I would do. And so that's a difficult script to write. That's a difficult story to tell. But every character is authentic in their decision. Every story beat makes sense for the time, for the place, for the character, and all of it wrapped in this fear, this plague era, this terror of this thing, blending in the occult, blending in the unknown, blending in the fear of the dark of the unknown. It's just so good. It is a storm of a movie. It is a wild, tumultuous experience of a film. It is a hurricane of a movie and performances, and the cinematography anchors all of that. It is so beautiful and rich. I think, and this is not to be hyperbolic, but when we look back at the 2020s as a decade of filmmaking, I love genre content. I think we will absolutely, in general, talk about some of the superhero stuff that came out this year, especially box office wise. But when we look back at like 2020s, I think this year we're going to be talking about Dune, especially with its reinvention of sci-fi and bringing sci-fi to the fold again, like to the main conversation. Wicked is absolutely an immediate classic, and then this. I think Nosferatu will absolutely stand the test of time and be, it's an immediate classic to me, and a movie we look back at the 2020s is one of the great films of this decade, and one of the films that, does last the test of time. So for me, Nosferatu, Wicked, and Dune 2 are the movies that are like, wow, like, Dune 2 is probably my favorite film of the year. I'm very excited to talk about it more. Wicked cracks my top 20 as well. Nosferatu, top 20, I just need to figure out where they go, because I only saw them a couple weeks, this one yesterday, and then Wicked a few weeks back, so they need to land somewhere, but immediate classic, immediate big bold swings. Solid A for me. What a film, what an experience, what a breathtaking, overwhelming time. If this video does well, I might do a spoiler review because there's a lot I want to talk about with the ending. I love how not only was this movie terrifying, but it was so sensual and so palatable for a not palatable tale. It was so approachable while being so... It's not as mean-spirited as some of the other work, but it's so gnarly. Like I said, it's metal. It's just so metal, and it's a hard line to walk, but I want to talk about the ending. So if this video does well, I want to do a spoiler review right after it comes out sometime in that late December, early January era. So leave a comment below. Let's grow this beast. Leave a like in this video if you like this video and you like my thoughts. The movie is amazing. I was very careful not to spoil a thing. I was trying to be very vague, but describe the power of this film. And if you're new to this page, please hit that subscription bell. I do lots and lots of reviews, non-spoiler as best I can, and spoiler after the film comes out because I'm not a monster, as well as lots of comic stuff. I read about 70 comics a week, and I give you my favorite 9 books of the week. I try to make them most approachable while also bringing you shows like Dune Prophecy, which drops this week, shows like What If coming up, shows like The Penguin I covered. So lots of stuff right here on this page. So much appreciation for you. What a movie. See Nosferatu on the darkest, biggest screen you can. My fiance joined me during the screening of the movie. She was a couple minutes late. Couldn't find me in the theater. Had to find a seat because it was at a screening, so there weren't reserved seats. She couldn't see me. It's that dark. So find a theater that projects darkness well, because you'll thank me for it after. It is a beautiful acrylic painting of a movie. Much love. Hope you enjoy it. Leave a comment below. Let's have a conversation about it. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.